Welcome to Williams Arena for the Minnesota State High School Boys Basketball Tournament and baseline-to-baseline coverage here on the Mighty 920, KDHL and 97.9 FM. The tradition continues. Roy Koenig and Brad Presteman sitting here courtside. Derek Theda will be part of the broadcast coverage as well, as we look forward to bringing you a cross-section of the State Boys Basketball Tournament. 3.5 games today. More details on what that means shortly. And then a full slate of action on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Championship Saturday, as 4 titleists will be crowned here at Williams Arena for the State Boys Basketball Tournament. Yeah, Brad, fun to have you by my side. Looking forward to a big weekend of basketball.
Same here, Roy, and it's always fun to work with a pro like you, and it's fun to get started here too, and sit by Williams Arena, always a thrill, and see where the Gophers and all the Big Ten teams play and all that kind of stuff, and Stewartville, a area team about ready to get underway.
Yeah, and Brad, it's fun sitting by you. You do some basketball coaching. You know the game very, very well, so thanks for being part of this here.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
This first game today is interesting. You've got the number 1 seed, Totino-Grace. They're the 2-time defending champions. They have rolled in the first round of each of the last 2 seasons. Stewartville is the unseeded team, but this is a top 5 rated Stewartville team that sounds like they were pretty shocked to be the number, or to be essentially the 8th seed because of the random draw.
Yeah, I think they're going to be, they'll have a little extra incentive. And looking at some of the coaches' comments, I think they're a little offended by that. And it doesn't hurt to have that feeling as you come in here. And he believes they have the talent and the opportunity to win the state tournament.
Yeah, and last season they took the consolation championship. Stewartville did, so they're an experienced team. They bring back most of the players from last year. And with that whole mantra that you got to beat the best teams to win the title anyway, from Stewartville's perspective, this is the state championship game.
Yeah, number 1 ranked and seeded, I guess, Totino-Grace. And yeah, if they can get through them, then the road, I shouldn't say gets easier, but you have surmounted a huge mountain.
Absolutely, yes. All the teams at state are very good, but from Stewartville's look at things, facing the number 1 seed, number 1 ranked team is a heck of a way to start the system. There's all sorts of talk about seeding 1 through 8. It certainly sounds like more and more sports will get to that. Volleyball has approved it for next fall, but seeding 1 through 8 will be, it's going to happen. I mean, there's no way it doesn't. Each individual sport will just make its request. So there's no way Stewartville would have been playing Totino-Grace in a 1 through 8 seeded tournament.
Yeah, right. And it's, that draw, I guess, from the open seeds to see who you have to play, and they did not win that draw, that's for sure. But yet a huge challenge for Stewartville. The Tigers coming in here, lots of height coming back, lots of experience, and having played here last year, then that sense of awe and, my goodness, we're here, and how do we play here, isn't there.
For Totino-Grace, they're the 2-time defending state champions. They did graduate a number of players off last season's team, but they bring back a stud in Isaiah Johnson, to say the least. He was a starter last year for this team, and this Totino-Grace team, they score a lot of points, and they're number 1 for a reason.
Well, they like to get out and run with the basketball. They want to play at a high pace, and they move the ball down the court, so you have to get back on defense and have to be able to do that and get out and run, and probably takes you a little bit away from the offensive rebound focus.
Our game is brought to you, and the state tournament brought to you by, and a quick over-the-air production meeting with our staff at the KDHL studios in Faribault. My computer access is only to a certain degree, and we will need a little help in any effort to play commercials here during this first game of the tournament. Maybe my computer will eventually start talking better to the Wi-Fi system, but for the moment, H&R Block, Faribault, Owatonna, Lakeville. Also Faribault Foods, Ackerman Accounting and Tax Service, Costco Wholesale of Owatonna, Amesbury Truth, First United Bank, Federated Mutual Insurance, and by Owatonna Auto Clinic, our sponsors for coverage of the State High School Boys Basketball Tournament. So we'll keep it here for now, but again, an over-the-air meeting to our folks at the KDHL studios. If someone is able to punch a button for us for some commercial breaks, that would be fantastic. Otherwise, we'll just continue to thank our sponsors who make this possible. Owatonna Auto Clinic, Federated Mutual Insurance, Amesbury Truth, First United Bank, Costco Wholesale of Owatonna, Ackerman Accounting and Tax Service presents our substitutions of the game, Faribault Foods, and today's stats brought to you by H&R Block, Lakeville, Owatonna, and Faribault. Teams are lined up across from us. Two-time defending state champion Totino-Grace and Stewartville riding a 20-game winning streak coming into this morning's game, actually. Next up is Minneapolis De La Salle against Orono. Then we're back on the radio with Mankato East against Chisago Lakes with Derek Theta. And Minneapolis South plays Alexandria in the quarterfinal of Class AAA. So, in an effort to bring aboard our sponsors, we'll see if we can take a 60-second commercial break on the Mighty 920 KDHL.
You said it last year, but you didn't do it. Now you're thinking again, I gotta find someone to take care of my books. And it's never too late. Ackerman Accounting and Tax Service can do that to ensure next year's tax time is much less stressful. From farming to small businesses, Ackerman Accounting and Tax Services will customize a plan that best fits your needs. Just think, you can have an expert take care of your day-to-day and month-to-month accounting tasks, freeing you up to do what you do best, run your business. They even work with individuals. See what they can do for you. Call Ackerman Accounting and Tax Services today, 451-3399.
H&R Block offices in Owatonna, Faribault, and Lakeville remind you now is the time to get your paperwork in order for tax season. Book your appointment at one of the offices where in-person or drop-off filing is available. No computer program can ask every single possible tax question. The tax professionals in Lakeville, Faribault, and Owatonna average 10 years experience, and you can request the same preparer every year. File your way at H&R Block offices in Faribault, Owatonna, and Lakeville. All tax situations are different. Not everyone gets a refund.
It is certainly a very busy day of basketball at Williams Arena and at Target Center today. As time goes on here, we'll give you the rundown on the whole tournament. My reference to 3.5 games on the radio today is we are in the season of Lent. Regular church service comes up at 5:30 today, and then we will jump in on the Waseca versus Breck game in Class AA quarterfinal action here at Williams Arena as soon as that church service wraps up. So a big day of basketball. We've got this game right here with Stewartville versus Totino-Grace, and then the Mankato East game this afternoon with a 2 o'clock tap. Mankato East and Chisago Lakes. That will be followed by the bulk of the Waseca game against Breck. Again, the game starts at 6, or maybe if they're running a few minutes behind, that'll be even better. And we'll join it as soon as the church service wraps up on the Mighty 920 KDHL. And then the capper today will be Lake City versus Pelican Rapids at Target Center. Brad, you'll have the play-by-play call on that at 8 o'clock tonight. So the better part of 4 basketball games on the radio today, and then continuing on with that trend over the next several days. A little bit of a question about which our first game will be tomorrow, but we'll follow Stewartville. Should Stewartville pull off the upset here, we'll follow Stewartville on the semifinal side. Otherwise, we'll be jumping in on some Class A basketball tomorrow. Just keep on listening all weekend long. Download the KDHL app to have us along with you to keep tabs on all of these games. Non-starters are being introduced, in some cases to a rousing applause here. And, we're missing Gordy Kosfeld on the coverage. Hope Gordy is getting healthy and everything. We wish him well. It's been a pleasure working with Gordy for a number of years, as I was, Brad, for covering of the State Boys Basketball Tournament. Such a passion for sports overall, and basketball especially for Gordy. So I'm sure we'll be fielding a couple of questions from media folks and fans about, hey, how's Gordy doing? Where's Gordy at? But we miss him.
Yeah, and I sure hope folks don't expect me to replace Gordy, because that is not possible. So maybe you're listening along, Gordy, and wish you well.
Yeah, well, it's apparently taking at least 2 people to replace Gordy, because Derek is going to be in on some of the coverage here as well, and then I'll limp along as best as I can. And then I think we've got the starting crew. It must be Watley, and then who's the 5th guy standing there? as we'll get to the starting lineups after we hear from the national anthem here that's going to be presented at Williams Arena. Williams Arena and Target Center as far as the location for all of these tournament games, with some games bouncing over to Concordia in St. Paul. National anthem here at this time. Stewartville is the lower-seeded team. They were, in fact, the unseeded team coming into this game. Parker Wongan is a 6'4" junior, wears number 0. Henry Cheddar, a future Johnny, a 6'4" senior, wears number 1. Tegan Malone is a senior, wears number 11, 6'3". Jason Schindler is a 6'5" senior, wearing number 13. And Caleb Bancroft, a junior at 6'7", number 23. For Totino-Grace, starters include a 6'6" sophomore, number 0, Dothan Jadambola. Number 1, a 6'4" sophomore, Tian Chapman. Number 4, a 6'7" senior, Isaiah Johnson. Tyler Wagner, a 6'6" junior, wears number 10, and a 6'2" junior, number 13, Chase Watley. Parker Liga is the head coach for Stewartville. Back-to-back appearances at the state tournament for Stewartville. And their only 2 appearances at the state tournament coming back-to-back seasons. Nick Carroll is the head coach for Totino-Grace. They've been to state 8 times, have 2 championships, back-to-back state titles, and they look to begin their defense knowing that they've got a good team to be matched up with. So, Brad, here we go with the first game.
Yeah, exciting here, and Stewartville ready to go. And these guys not only have experience in basketball at state tournament last year, many of these guys were a part of winning a state football championship.
Indeed, Stewartville Tigers, they won that championship in fall and have flowed right into a great basketball season. Opening tap is controlled by Totino-Grace. They were in the dark blue with the white numbers, yellow trim. Their fans are confident, saying this one's over after they won the opening tap. Down to 15 on the shot clock, working around the perimeter. Can't really get the ball inside as of yet. Handling as Watley out top. 9 to shoot. Into the corner with Chapman. Now they go inside, trying to find an outlet as Johnson. 3 to shoot. Through the lane, up, off. And the shot never hit the rim. It was back rebounded by Stewartville as it was. Brad, that was tough for them to find a shot.
Yeah, 2-3 zone for Stewartville, and Totino-Grace having a lot of trouble. Very aggressive zone out of the 2-3.
Now, this is a very high-scoring team in Totino-Grace, but Stewartville, a very stingy team. They give up less than 50 points a game, and they're going to carry themselves pride on defense. They're a ball tapped away, turned over, and the Eagles move into the front court. No score 1 minute in. Johnson backs down his opponent, puts it outside to Watley for 3. And Chase Watley delivers a 3 for the first points of the game for Totino-Grace. And now Stewartville going to work, attacking the basket to our left. Stewartville in the white uniforms, maroon and gold coloring for the numbers and piping, appropriately enough, here at Williams Arena. Cheddar drills it for 2, and it's 3-2, Totino-Grace.
Well, leading scorer getting Stewartville going, averages 17 points a game.
Almost 2 minutes into the contest. Totino-Grace, left-hand dribble around the top of the key area. Tian Chapman, this is a young team, a sophomore, 2 sophomores, 2 juniors, a senior in the starting lineup for the Eagles. Working around the offense, still on the outside. Watley swings it over to Johnson. 5 to shoot. On the right wing, shot on its way, comes off the rim. Nothing but white shirts there for a Stewartville rebound on the miss.
Really good man-to-man defense that time. Good pressure from Stewartville.
And a great job from Stewartville at the other end. They find Bancroft, a bit of a backdoor play, wide open, banks it in, 4-3 Tigers on top.
A good play. Found an open guy inside, just essentially unguarded. Brought the bigs up out from under the basket.
Driving in, Watley gets underneath the basket. A circus sort of shots. He felt he was fouled. No call. Play hustles the other way with the Tigers. On the right wing side was Schindler. Now a three-pointer is up and good for Schindler, the senior for Stewartville.
And with Watley flying right by him and getting a hand right in his line of sight as he shot it.
7-3, Stewartville with the lead. We've gone 3 minutes into this Class 3A quarterfinal game. Not your typical one versus unseeded matchup. Stewartville is all over Johnson. He'll lob it left corner for Watley. They've got 12 seconds to shoot. Will step back by Ajadambola. Missed it again. Stewartville, the only team nearby for a rebound.
And that time trapping the baseline and really upset the workings and the passing sequence that Totino-Grace wanted to follow.
And now the Totino-Grace fans chanting for their own team to do some good defense. There's a blocked shot. Shot was blocked, but still controlled by Stewartville. Might have been Ajadambola on the block. Now ball tossed out of bounds. I'll take that back. I think it was Wagner that may have blocked that shot for Totino-Grace. And now the ball out of bounds off Stewartville. So it belongs to the Eagles. 4 minutes in, 7-3. Stewie on top.
Well, see what kind of defense Stewartville comes with this time. Started 2-3 in the first possession, now man-to-man in the last several.
Into the front court, Chapman swings it left side. That's Johnson with the right-hand dribble. Crossover, up the lane, loses the basketball. Passes it over to the right-hand side. New into the game, by the way, is Young for Totino-Grace. Johnson gets it inside and is called on a charge.
The Stewartville fans, and there's a lot of them across the way, and they are fired up about that.
Johnson is a Mr. Basketball finalist. He picks up the charge and the first foul against Totino-Grace. And now Stewartville ball up 7-3, just over 4 minutes into the game. On the outside was Wangen. Pass comes over right in front of us as we sit courtside. Malone. Wangen again with it. Gives it now to Cheddar. Cheddar drives. And there was a foul along the way against the Eagles.
Well, Stewartville doing a great job so far of trying to attack the rim and getting the ball inside and making easier baskets. That time would have had one too, but for the foul.
Shot clock reset to 20. 13 and a half to go first half. 7-3 Stewartville with the lead. Over number 1 seed, two-time defending champ Totino-Grace. Really early on. Cheddar gets in, fade away in the lane off front of the rim. Rebounded by Johnson. Averages 9 rebounds. He goes with 19 points and 5 assists per game for the Mr. Basketball finalist for Totino-Grace. Up the lane, spin, fade away. That one must have been blocked. That shot had to be blocked. Might have been Schindler. At the other end, a spot up 3 is off the heel of the rim. Rebound is off of Stewartville, so it's Totino-Grace ball. Early on, Totino-Grace is 1 for 5 on field goals, and Stewartville is 3 for 5. Stats of the game brought to you by H&R Block. Faribault, Owatonna, Lakeville, they know their numbers. H&R Block. Boys basketball time means that tax time is not too far away. Johnson on top. Left side, Chapman back to Johnson, give and go to him, but he is being hounded inside. A lot of defense pressure being put on by Bancroft. And now, 5-second call. Yep. And again, running to a trap. Down low towards the baseline. They trapped the first guy on the baseline, trapped the second guy just a little bit higher, and then got the 5-second call. We've got a timeout on the floor. It's Stewartville off to a great start, 7-3, leading over Totino-Grace. 12:32 to go in the first half. We're back in 30 seconds on the Mighty 920 KDHL.
Back in the 1920s, when an entrepreneur came to town to seek their dream, they needed three things: a place to stay, a knowledgeable banker, and an account with First United Bank. Today, First United Bank in Faribault and Owatonna is still helping young people who are starting out. First United Bank has grown to the size it is today by giving sound financial advice and personal service to its customers for over 100 years. That's why First United Bank is important for young families today. At First United Bank, they didn't invent personal service, they just never forgot it. Member FDIC.
So an early timeout, 7-3, holding Totino-Grace to 3 points so far. What are we, 5.5 minutes into the game, and Totino-Grace has 3-point spread.
Yeah, and Stewartville shooting 50% so far from the field, 3 out of 6, 1 out of 6 for Totino at 16%.
So two teams that can score in a defensive tussle to begin with. Shot misses by Stewartville. Saved by Will Brands. Quick transition the other way. Young banks it up and in. Josiah Young. He's a 4-point per game guy off the bench. It's 7-5 Stewartville.
Well, Stewartville just getting beat down court a little bit that time, and you can't allow that. This Totino-Grace team excels in the running game.
Malone, top of the key, was being guarded by Wagner. Schindler bounces it in low post. Backdoor pass, swatted away by Watley. That leads to a turnover. Penetrating, but then pulling up is Wagner. Watley fakes, drives, dishes down low, but then a swarm of Tigers prevent the in-close shot. Three-pointer on its way is offline. And this is going to belong to Stewartville. So still shooting is very poor for Totino-Grace.
And the turnovers, though, the last couple of possessions for Stewartville, that's a problem, because that's when sometimes you can get those run-out plays and those fast break plays, and that can't happen too often here. Last year in the first game, they stayed within 5 points of De La Salle despite committing 22 turnovers, they being Stewartville.
Stewartville ended up taking the consolation title a year ago. They have high aspirations this year. That shot is good. I believe that was Cheddar.
Yes.
Okay, Cheddar on the basket. Up on the big scoreboard here, they've got the teams labeled wrong.
Yeah.
But we've got our own score sheets. And a turnover on Totino-Grace on a travel call.
I think the trapping that they're expecting now and getting ready for is starting to bother Totino-Grace a little more as time goes along. They called the timeout, I'm sure, to try to adjust to that, and so far haven't been able to do it.
Stewartville with the ball, a 9-5 lead for the Tigers. We're at 10:45 to go first half. Cheddar, right-hand dribble, gets that ball to Malone. Pass comes across to Helder. He's in off the bench. Substitutions brought to you by Ackerman Accounting and Tax Service in Owatonna. I think they went the wrong way on this. It looked like Jadambola hit the ball off of a Stewartville player, but the officials are awarding the ball to Stewartville.
Yeah, I agree. It kind of looked that way.
So this is a Stewartville inbound, 10 seconds to shoot. They're leading 9-5 over the top seed, number 1 ranked, two-time defending champ Totino-Grace. Early on in the ballgame still. Cheddar, 3 to shoot. Charge! So one of the top players on Stewartville's side now has an indication on him with the charging call.
Well, good defense being played by both of these teams. Stewartville came out, as we said, 2-3 in just the first possession, got to stop. Now they've been back to the man-to-man since then, and this really hot, aggressive man-to-man for Totino-Grace.
Game is settled in, 9-5, 10.5 to go first half, the first of 4 quarterfinal games. After this broadcast, we'll be back on with the Mankato East AAA game. Well, these are AAA initially. Jumper in the lane, floating through Jadambola. He hits. It's 9-7, Stewartville. Dropping the basketball, then picking it up was Helder. Got it across. Cheddar cut off by Watley. Pretty physical defense by Totino-Grace. Along the baseline, Helder pass intercepted. Isaiah Johnson racing the other way. Johnson slam dunk.
Well, I think that Stewartville needing to make some adjustments to the speed and length of this Totino-Grace team, and you just can't throw those passes into the middle like that, and they've lost 2 turnovers doing that.
Turnovers are 4-3. Stewartville has more turnovers. It's a 9-9 game with 9:20 to go in the first half. Taking the charge, Ajatambola.
A good defense by Ajatambola and turnover on Stewartville.
Who got the foul? Let's see.
I think it was Wangan. Really
okay. Yep, number 0. Yep, there it is. So it's a 9-9 game, 9:10 to play first half. Totino-Grace has the ball inside Johnson. He tosses left corner to Ajatambola. Pass intercepted just like it was at the other end. Then it goes off of his foot. Turned back over to the Eagles. Johnson top of the lane. He'll hand that ball out to Jacob off the bench. Young blocked at the as he goes to the hoop by Helder. Blocked the shot. Quick transition. Stewartville front court. Pass over to the right wing side for Malone. The shot is up, around, and in.
Really good ball movement by Stewartville that time. Good passes.
11-9, Stewartville, 8.5 to play first half. Watley has it on the right wing side. Now it's out top in the hands of Jacob for 3. Vincent Jacob averages 3 a game. The 6-foot junior lifts Totino-Grace ahead 12-11. Wangan on the dribble, a junior on a team dominated by seniors for Stewartville. Pass to the low post. 0 versus 0. And the shot misses. Johnson for Totino-Grace gets the rebound. He drives deep, and he has his second charge.
Kind of a charge fest here so far. Each team having one, and I think, as you said, Totino-Grace picking up their second.
And he's going to come out of the game. Coming into the game is Wagner back into the game. They go a little bit off the bench. Substitutions brought to you by Ackerman Accounting and Tax Service of Owatonna. Roy and Brad from the State High School Boys Basketball Tournament. Baseline to baseline coverage for a 76th year on the Mighty 920 KDHL in Faribault. In the lane, Cheddar, a little shot put of a shot. He missed it. Rebound, Totino-Grace. They're up by 1. Ajatambola drops it into the corner to Jacob. Quick transition. Defender flies by. Set up for the long shot. Long jumper missed it. Offensive rebound, Jacob. Pass, backdoor, waiting patiently for the defender to fly by, and then Chapman knocks it down and got fouled. Tian Chapman, the sophomore, will go to the line for a 3-point play opportunity.
Just a beautiful pass coming over to the weak side from the strong side, and the only guy over there, and he had kind of been lost under the rim a little bit. We talked about turnovers and how you cannot do that against Totino-Grace. It'll give them easy points sometimes. So right now, 7 points off turnovers for Totino-Grace, none for Stewartville.
Free throw misses. It's 14-11. Totino-Grace, 7:10 to go in the first half of this first Class 3A quarterfinal matchup. A pass, just does get through. Stewartville, Helder finds his man underneath, then misses the bunny. Got an offensive rebound, and I think, did they rule a tie-up? Or did they call a foul on that play?
I think it's a shooting foul, yeah. And
okay. I was screened. Yeah, you are.
Yep.
14. So that's Vincent Jacob. I think the official is saying no shot. His ruling is no shot because he's pointing to the baseline, even though everyone else on the floor thinks there's 2 free throws coming.
And I don't think that's a good call. This was a shooting foul. Definitely going up with the ball in his hand and hit on the wrist.
And Stewartville players are shrugging their shoulders. Coach Parker over there shrugging his shoulders. Can't believe that it's not a shooting foul. But the officials did come together briefly to discuss the situation. And the ruling stands. 20 seconds to shoot. Long inbound, flying in the air. Bancroft has it, gives to Helder, senior off the bench. A lot of these guys played on that state championship football team for Totino-Grace. They look inside. Turner and off the bench, trying to post up on Watley. That's pushed out a little farther. 5 seconds to shoot. On its way. Off. Rebound in traffic. Ajatambola. Chapman over to Ajatambola. He drives. He passes into the corner, and he's blocked on an aggressive drive. Blocking foul on Stewartville. It'll be an inbound play. And the foul whistled against Blake Turner. One starter back for a state championship team, Totino-Grace. That's Isaiah Johnson, the 6'7 senior. He's going to Miami, by the way. Division I recruit and Mr. Basketball finalist. Eagles with the basketball. They are up by 3, 14-11, 6:20 to go first half. Watley to Wagner. Now in the corner, still 15 to shoot. Coming out of the corner with the ball was Chapman. Ajatambola with 7 seconds to shoot. Now Chapman, 4 to shoot, hands it down low, and they find, and banking it in is Chase Watley. He has 5 points at 16-11, Totino-Grace.
Back to the 2-3 zone on that one and beating it pretty easily.
Helder with a leaner finger roll up and through. And the head coach for Totino-Grace has his hands on his face as if how could we have give up such an easy basket. So 16-13 is the score with a short timeout on the floor. So we'll hold it here at this time. But what a great start in the game for Stewartville, Brad, even though they're behind by 3 right now. But they came out with some attitude and turned up some great defense against the Eagles.
They do. And one thing, though, Totino-Grace will like to do is they'll like to try to wear down the opposing team, tire them out with this constant running around on the court, running down the court, and then quick movement on their offense that gets hard to guard and hard to constantly set those traps, as Stewartville likes to do.
One of the interesting things about this year's state tournament is all 4 defending champs are back. Totino-Grace here in AAA, Wayzata in 4A, Albany in AA, and Russell Tyler Ruthven in Class A. They're all back. RTR, defending state champion, they drew the number 1 seed. So Russell Tyler Ruthven, in defense of their state title, they have to play number 1 seed Cherry tomorrow morning. That's an interesting first-round matchup. Just like this is an interesting first-round matchup, a good Stewartville team, highly ranked in the final poll. Consolation champs a season ago, but they're facing the number 1 seed Totino-Grace. Eagles with the ball, Watley. 5.5 to go first half. Finds a man open. And as the defender flies by, the shot is up, around, and off. Rebounded by the Tigers. Stewartville back-to-back appearances at state. There are only 2 appearances at state. On the dribble there was Schindler. Driving up the lane, falling down. And I think that was called travel, I presume.
Yep, and that's the right call that time. Little contact in there, but not enough to really send him to the floor.
So it's Totino-Grace ball. They're up by 3, 5 minutes and 5 seconds to go in the first half. As Stewartville gets set for a line change, they've got 3 guys checking in to come in. That'll include a starter or 2 coming back. There was some sort of an offensive foul. And I don't know if it was on the guy with the ball as I was looking at the sideline there, but it's a foul, an offensive foul on Totino-Grace. First foul on, let's see, Chapman, number 1. Yeah, Chapman called on the foul, I think, although it looked like he flashed more fingers than that.
I think it might have been Will Brands. It looked like
Will Brands, okay.
Looked like a 24 to me, unless the scoreboards are saying something different here.
Well, okay, Chapman has one, but yeah, that was probably on Brands, who I think then checked out of the game for Totino-Grace. Eagles lead by 3. Oh, Cheddar misses a close shot, then kind of pumps his fists in frustration. It was just a little fade away from 6 feet. 16-13 Totino-Grace. There's a pull up, top of the lane. That one kicks out. Rebounded by Schindler of the Tigers on the miss by Totino-Grace. Traveling as Cheddar was getting set to dump it over into the right corner in transition. Now a traveling call and a turnover against the Tigers. Stewartville, 70 points a game, gives up just 46 points per game. Totino-Grace averages 85 points per game, and they're at 16 with 4:15 to go in the first half.
Well, Stewartville has been playing some really good defense, kind of mixing it up. A lot of trapping, like right there on the baseline.
Johnson misses the shot. Malone gets the rebound for Stewartville. Tigers down 3, 4 minutes to go first half. Good ball movement on the right wing. Cheddar, now they work it over to Wongan. He passes into the corner. Baseline jumper. Jansen around and good. Caleb Jansen, a senior off the bench. Ackerman Accounting and Tax Service substitution. Jansen averages 6 a game. He puts up a 2 there at 16-15 Totino-Grace. Ajadabola bubbles it around in and out. And it belongs to Stewartville, I believe. The offensive rebound attempt goes out of bounds.
9 turnovers on Stewartville already, just 6 on Totino-Grace.
Totino-Grace, I mentioned how many points they score per game. And my internet is far from perfect here. I've got that page okay. I was just trying to bring up the Minnesota scores for the team averages. That part's not working. And then that whole connection to the radio station thing, that's been an interesting deal. Anyhow, Stewartville with the ball right now. They are down by 1. Coming out of the corner with it was Jansen. And that pass was tipped as it goes into the backcourt. 7 seconds to shoot for the Tigers. From the corner. That was a 3. A 3 from the corner, I believe, by Jansen.
Yep. So 2 hit shots in a row for Jansen.
2 3-pointers in the game for Stewartville. They lead 18-16 with under 3 minutes to play in the first half. Oh boy, Johnson's going to hear about that. Air ball.
Boy, that's a great Stewartville crowd across the way. They are noisy, that student section, lots of kids there, and they're letting Totino-Grace have it. Little full court pressure now for Totino-Grace.
So with the basketball is Stewartville. They lead. Stewartville leads the number 1 seed, Totino-Grace 18-16. Nice little no-look pass inside, and he shuffled his feet. They got the ball inside well to Jansen, but a turnover on the Tigers. That's about 7 or 8 turnovers, plus, as you pointed out, points off turnovers in Totino-Grace's favor, 7-0. Back into the game is Vincent Jacob. He's a junior off the bench for Totino-Grace.
5 points for Jansen, only averages 6 a game, so he's on his way to a good scoring game.
2.5 remaining in the first half. First game, baseline to baseline coverage of the state tournament continues through championship Saturday. What a great defensive play by Schindler as he picked the ball right off the top of the hands of Watley as he was driving to the hoop. And at this end, a basket is good for Stewartville.
Well, that's something Stewartville's coach said is, hey, they like to run, but we can play that game with them. And there they did. Great pass.
Hilder with his second shot. Baseline jumper is drilled at the other end by Tyler Wagner. His first points of the game. 20-18 Stewartville. 2 minutes to go first half. Hilder in the front court. Pass comes ahead to Wongan. Wongan centers it for Malone, a senior. He's a returning starter. Whipped inside. Shot good. And good patience that time by Jansen to wait for a defender to kind of get out of position. 22-18, Stewartville with the lead. Johnson for 3, skims off the rim, put back miss. Rebound again, offense, rolls it up, and then Wagner, after he grabs 2 offensive rebounds, it's 22-20 Stewartville.
Malone fell down trying to get that second rebound and just went right to the wide open player for Totino-Grace.
Stewartville leads in the rebounding category 9-6. Stats brought to you by H&R Block, Owatonna, Faribault, Lakeville. Helder, he's got 4 points, runs the offense when he's in there off the bench. Wongan comes out of the left corner. Free throw line extended. Jansen too strong. Weak side rebound. Stewartville. Schindler grabbed that. Pass tipped, but Helder goes back to get it. There's still 15 to shoot. Helder crisscrosses, hands it off to Schindler. We're down to 45 seconds in the half, by the way, as Totino-Grace comes away with the steal.
Yeah, just can't play like that with those kind of no-look passes into the middle. It's just not going to happen against Totino-Grace.
Pull-up jumper, knocking it down. 6 points for Tyler Wagner. It's 22-22. Shot clock off. 25 seconds to go in the first half. Turnover, actually still battling for the ball on the floor. And there's a kick indicated on the ball by Totino-Grace, so this will belong to Stewartville with 19 seconds to go.
Well, I think against this Totino-Grace defense, Stewartville dribbling just a little bit too much right now. That defense is on them so hot and heavy. They just have to pass the ball a little bit better right now.
So there's 19.4 seconds to go first half. 22-22 game in this basketball AAA quarterfinal. Winner of this game will end up playing the winner of the De La Salle-Orono game, who were also two teams that were at state a season ago. De La Salle was the runner-up after they beat Stewartville in the first round. 12 seconds to go first half. Shinworth, the shot will come off the hands of Malone, missed shot, defensive rebound. Ajadambola on an alley-oop, and a slam dunk by Tyler Wagner as time expires in the first half on a highlight reel play by Totino-Grace, and they score at least the last 6 points of this first half. Totino-Grace will escape to the halftime locker room with a 24-22 lead. And Brad, before we go to our first break, what's your impression of the first half?
Well, that last play, the 2-on-2 fast break, and both Stewartville players came out to kind of try to trap the guy with the ball, left the guy that made the slam dunk wide open. In this game so far, though, Roy, I think that Stewartville certainly holding their own. They need to go in halftime feeling pretty good about that. They need to adjust some of their passing into the middle. There's been at least 3 turnovers off of passes that just are not going to get there and against this team. And so make a little adjustment there, maybe. Make a little adjustment on the ball handling, and maybe what you might consider a little bit of over-dribbling at times in the way that the defense is being played on the ball. But Stewartville playing well, and Totino-Grace being held to 22 points. And as you said, they average 85 and up per game. And so a great defensive first half for Stewartville.
All right, we are at halftime of the opening game of the State High School Boys Basketball Tournament. We'll review some statistics, look at the tournament as a whole, and tell you about one of the neat stories last weekend when the Stewartville girls were at state, and kind of a star was back inside the barn. We'll get to some of those details on our halftime report on the Mighty 920 KDHL Faribault, Minnesota, coming right up. At the half, it's 24-22. Totino-Grace leading Stewartville, and what a way to open the tournament. We're back in 90 seconds on KDHL.
Every part counts at Amesbury Truth, and the most important one is the part you'll play when you join their team. As the leading provider of window and door products in North America, Amesbury Truth has a part for you. Right now, they're hiring, and those positions come with competitive wages, benefits, and plenty of opportunities too. So you never stop growing. Isn't it time you open the door to a career at Amesbury Truth? Get details and apply online at amesburytruth.com/careers.
Costco is hiring team members at the Costco Depot located in Owatonna. If you have the desire to work in a fast-paced environment with a diverse group of people, look no further. They are hiring entry-level positions and employees in refrigerated and dry environments. Starting pay is $19.50 an hour, with raises based on the number of hours worked, currently topping out at $29.30. Benefits start after 60 days of employment. Apply online at Costco.com. Costco is an equal opportunity employer.
Faribault Foods has been a pillar of the Faribault community since 1895. As a leading manufacturer of high-quality canned foods, they're dedicated to providing wholesome and delicious recipe-ready food. Keep your pantry stocked with canned beans and vegetables for easy meals at your fingertips. Use Mrs. Grimes beans in your favorite soups, chilies, or tacos. And butter kernel vegetables is a side dish your family will love. For more meal inspiration, visit mrsgrimesbeans.com or butterkernel.com.
Back at Williams Arena, Roy Koenig, Brad Presteman, Derek Theda will be in this seat in a little while for the Mankato East versus Chisago Lakes game, Chisago Lakes area. effort made on our broadcast coverage to cover the regional teams. We'll bring you the Waseca game later tonight, but we'll need to join that one in progress because of the Wednesday evening church service. The Lake City game against Pelican Rapids, that'll be on the Mighty 920 KDHL at 8 p.m. tonight. Over at Target Center, the AA is split between Target Center and Williams Arena for their first round. Here it's 24-22, Totino-Grace leading Stewartville at the half. So last week, Brad, the Stewartville girls were here at state. They're a top 15 rated team. They ended up with the number 5 seed. They won their opening round game, a thriller over St. Peter, 47-46. Lost to the eventual state champion, Benilde St. Margaret, in the second round, and ended up taking 4th place. But one of the most fun stories that I saw from last weekend, John Millay caught up with one Carly Wagner.
Yeah.
The 3rd leading scorer. When she finished with the Gophers, she was the 3rd leading scorer in program history. Carly is the 2nd leading scorer for her career in Minnesota girls basketball history. A New Richland, Heartland, Ellendale, Geneva graduate. I had the pleasure of covering some of those games when they went to back-to-back state championships. But Carly's name in the news last weekend because she's a volunteer assistant coach in Stewartville. In fact, so volunteer that her name wasn't even listed in the program, by the way. But, I mean, her name's out there, a lot of other things on the Minnesota State High School League website, no big deal. But Carly told John Millay, it's been a blast. I honestly love it more than I thought I was going to. She says, I always wanted to get into coaching, but never thought it was the right time or I was ready. I got to know some great people from Stewartville that talked me into it, and it's been good. So that's kind of a neat story.
Very neat story, and that's pretty good non-paid assistant to have there. If you have Carly Wagner working for free on your staff, you're doing pretty well, apparently.
Yeah, I've had a chance to interview her a number of times over the years. Just a great person. I can't say I know her a ton, but just from a handful of interviews. But it's been wonderful following her career and getting to chat with her. Always very gracious for those interviews over time. And just what a basketball player to watch when she was she and her teammates taking the Panthers on to back-to-back state championships. And this is the 10th anniversary of the 2nd state title for NRHEG.
That long ago. Goodness sakes. Time flies. Yeah. So been away from the Gophers for 6 years or so then. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. Yep, dabbled a little bit in some pro ball. I think went overseas for a little bit as well, but working in Rochester nowadays in a healthcare field. And all those notes, John Millay has a nice story on the Minnesota State High School League website. So, Brad, as far as some of those H&R Block, Owatonna, Faribault, Lakeville stats of the game, what are a couple of things that stand out for you in that first half with Totino-Grace up by 2 over Stewartville?
Yeah, I think that the stats kind of bear out the fact that this is a 2-point game. On the rebounding side, Stewartville leading on that side, which is very important, 14-10. 2 turnovers, however, Stewartville with 11-6 for Totino-Grace. I think they might have missed one there. I think there's one more turnover on there than what they have. Okay. Shooting-wise, 48% for Stewartville, 28.6 from the three-point line. For Totino-Grace, 41% overall, and they've made 2 out of 6 from the three-point line. And Stewartville led by Jansen with 7 points. That's 1 point over his average already. 8 points to lead the way for Totino-Grace for Wagner.
All right, that covers most of the stats of note. The tournament, we've talked about the AAA field a couple of times. And after we take our final break of the halftime report, as players are making their way back onto the court, after we take our final break, we'll get you set for the start of the second half. I'll try to run through all the tournament brackets with at least who's playing here at state. When we return to Williams Arena with Totino-Grace leading, but only by 2, 24-22 at the half. Back in 1 minute on the Mighty 920 KDHL.
Federated Mutual Insurance Company is passionate about the care and enrichment of the next generation. At the heart of our charitable focus is youth mentoring and our support of Big Brothers Big Sisters. We are proud of our employees who are currently volunteering to be a big brother, big sister, big couple, or a big family, and yet there are hundreds of children still waiting for a big. Ignite your year. Empower potential today. Consider this your personal invitation to learn more about Big Brothers Big Sisters. Together, we can make a difference.
The change in the seasons not only affect us, it also affects your vehicles. Hi, this is Ashley from the Owatonna Auto Clinic. When the temperatures drop, it affects tire pressures, battery functions, and temperature controls. Stop by for a checkup today. The Owatonna Auto Clinic will lab test your vehicle to make sure it has the right prescription to get you through the cold weather ahead. Drive with confidence with a little help from your friends at the Owatonna Auto Clinic at 902 Hoffman Drive in Owatonna.
Teams are getting ready to go for the second half here at Williams Arena. Totino-Grace leads Stewartville by 2. Next up, De La Salle versus Orono. Later on, Mankato East against Chisago Lakes area, 2 o'clock, Mighty 920, KDHL. And then Minneapolis South and Alexandria. 4A tournament has started over at Target Center. Rogers against defending champ Wayzata, the top seed. Cretin-Durham Hall and Farmington. That's a neat story. Come back to that when we have time. Farmington at state for the first time since 1937. Egan and Park Center meet in a quarterfinal, and Coon Rapids versus Minnetonka. In the Class AA tournament, games begin today, including Waseca versus top seed Breck. We'll join that as soon as we can, around 6:30 today, after church service on the Mighty 920. The 4-5 game is Minnehaha Academy and Pequot Lakes. Jackson County Central plays defending champ Albany, the 2 seed this year, and Lake City Pelican Rapids at 8 o'clock at Target Center. Brad will have that one on. I'll be there with him as well for that Lake City game at 8 o'clock tonight. And Class A tomorrow is defending champ Russell Tyler Ruthven against top seed Cherry to tip it off at 11 at Target Center. Nevis and Mountain Lake area Comfrey, Heritage Christian Academy versus West Central area, and Fertile Beltrami and Goodhue. Goodhue, the unseeded team, they'll play Fertile Beltrami at 5 o'clock tomorrow. We look to bring that game to you as well from Target Center. Goodhue girls, they just won the championship a few days ago, Brad.
Yeah, what a year for Goodhue. Both teams in the state. The girls so far winning the championship. We'll see what the boys can do. And they've got a great team, too. Right in that first half, Stewartville made 10 baskets, and 8 of those were assisted. So just a sign of great passing, team play. They're seeing the court well and doing a nice job.
Here we go, second half underway. 18-minute halves in high school basketball. 24-22 Totino-Grace. Stewartville with a shot. It's good by Cheddar, and this is a tie ball game at 24 apiece, just underway second half of the opening quarterfinal game.
Yeah, Cheddar with only 4 points in the first half, and he's the leading scorer at 17 for Stewartville.
Isaiah Johnson for Totino-Grace, 2 points in the first half, and he averages 19 points a game. A defensive battle. Zone defense by Stewartville. Ajadambola. Pass comes out top. They've got 9 to shoot. Johnson a little head fake, then pulls up. Shot short. And then a foul. Ajadambola, I believe, slapped the Stewartville player on the arm, and an early foul against Totino-Grace in the second half.
One of those fouls, 95 feet from the basket, that just never going to turn out to your benefit, or hardly ever, and not a foul you like to see as a coach.
Chapman, I guess, called on the foul, his second. No one with more than 2 fouls, I don't believe. Chapman 2, Johnson 2. He had the 2 charges Johnson did for Totino-Grace. 24-24. Cheddar in the lane, didn't like what he had to look at there. Bancroft has the ball swatted at. Bancroft spins, drives, and lays that up and in. Stewartville goes ahead.
Just a beautiful drop step to the baseline there, and a nice basket.
With the basketball now, Totino-Grace. They trail 26-24, a minute into the second half. Pass on the right, into the corner, Johnson goes baseline, gets up in the air, kind of changes his positioning, and Isaiah Johnson had a second field goal of the game. We're even at 26 points apiece.
Yeah, watching him, you can kind of see he's a Division I player. Those guys just kind of stand out when they're on a team.
He'll be going to Miami. A 3 from the left wing is good for Tegan Malone, and Stewartville goes ahead 29-26.
Great to hit a 3 now and then pull that defense up away from the basket.
Chapman for 3, misses, offensive rebound, put back up and in, and good for Tian Chapman.
Yeah, just missing the block out that time, Stewartville, and letting him get right to the rim.
Stewie still leads 29-28, 2 minutes into the second half. Cheddar passes the ball into the hands of Malone. A lot of seniors on this team. Those 2 are seniors. Cheddar drives in and, missed the layup. Rebound by Totino-Grace. Ajadambola hands it over to Johnson. A spot up. College three is offline. Rebound. Chapman Watley almost had it, but at the other end, here comes Stewartville. Cheddar. There's contact. There is a charge on Cheddar, and he can't believe that.
Well, the reason the call went that way was that Cheddar extended his elbow and arm into the player, and that is something that referees will see every time. And whether he made much contact or not, which I'm not sure he did, it's just too easy to call it that way.
Ackerman Accounting and Tax Service substitution, Josiah Young. He's a junior off the bench for Totino-Grace. He got 2 points in the first half. 29-28, Stewartville with the lead. Totino-Grace with the ball in the lane. Johnson muscles his way up the lane and banks it up and in. 30-29, Totino-Grace seesaws ahead. Held a little head fake, then a nice penetration drive ball stripped out of bounds, knocked off his hands out of bounds. It'll stay Stewartville ball, plenty of time to shoot.
Well, again, great attack on the rim, and a good job by Stewartville.
1 point lead for Totino-Grace, 3 minutes into the second half. Inbound comes to Helder. Again, lots of time to shoot. First year of the shot clock in high school basketball. It's been a good transition by all accounts. Picking his pocket, stripping it away as Watley. He'll transition the other way, float, shoot, and score. End-to-end points off turnovers, and Watley has his first points of the second half and 7 in the game.
Well, I think the hands on Totino-Grace defense just a little bit quicker maybe than Stewartville's used to, and getting more hands on the basketball off the dribble.
32-29, Totino-Grace. 3.5 minutes into the second half, and a foul whistled on the Eagles. That might be on Watley. Pretty sure it's on Watley. Second team foul of the second half on Totino-Grace. Inbound for Stewartville. And it's Malone with the basketball. Helder out top, looks inside to Schindler. Now a shot from the left is good for three. That's Wangen with his first points of the game. 32-32, we're tied, 14-15 to go. Pass to Watley, he returns it to Young. Corner, Johnson drives in, pass, deflected, turned over. Long outlet ahead. And Wangen races to the ball. It was a little too far in front of him. Now jump stop through the lane, missed. Rebound torn away by Tyler Wagner. Nice job for Totino-Grace.
Yeah, can't miss those bunnies against this team.
Totino-Grace with the ball. 32-32, 13:45 remaining in the game. A three, around and off. A lot of white shirts there for the rebound. That's Stewartville's Bancroft, the 6'7" junior, with that rebound.
I should point out that the leading scorer for Stewartville, Cheddar, is on the bench now with 3 fouls.
Okay. In tight, and Bancroft is going to draw a foul as he puts the ball up and in for a 34-32 lead, and he's going to go to the line. And let's see who's on the foul. 13-30. It's one thing I have a terrible time tracking here at Williams Arena. They don't flash the fouls up on the board the same way that they do at high school arenas.
That's right.
Bancroft at the line for a free throw. The shot is good. As a team, that is the first free throw for Stewartville. Totino-Grace has taken 1 free throw and missed it. 35-32, Stewartville with the lead, 13:15 to go. Johnson, pass, backdoor, shoveled, outside. Chapman, free, off the front of the rim. Rebound is Malone, and then he got smacked in the head. Foul against Totino-Grace.
Well, another one of those fouls that you just wonder why, because you're a full court away from the basket where Stewartville can do any damage, and fouled, and so 2 of those in the second half here already.
3-point lead for Stewartville and the ball. Into the front court is Wangen. On the dribble, Bancroft. He just made that 3-point play. Schindler. Now Bancroft has it out top. 3-point lead for Stewartville, taking their time on offense, penetrating along the baseline. It's up and in good for Schindler. That's his second field goal. 37-32, 5-point lead for Stewartville.
That's a great move down the baseline. I just simply beat Jacob to the basket.
And then a running one-hander up the lane is good for Josiah Young. He has his second field goal. We've got a timeout on the floor. Timeout on the floor. It's a full timeout. 37-34, 12 and a half to go in the second half. We've got a great one going here for this first quarterfinal game back in 60 seconds on the Mighty 920 KDHL.
You said it last year, but you didn't do it. Now you're thinking again, I gotta find someone to take care of my books. And it's never too late. Ackerman Accounting and Tax Service can do that to ensure next year's tax time is much less stressful. From farming to small businesses, Ackerman Accounting and Tax Services will customize a plan that best fits your needs. Just think, you can have an expert take care of your day-to-day and month-to-month accounting tasks, freeing you up to do what you do best, run your business. They even work with individuals. See what they can do for you. Call Ackerman Accounting and Tax Services today, 451-3399.
H&R Block offices in Owatonna, Faribault, and Lakeville remind you now is the time to get your paperwork in order for tax season. Book your appointment at one of the offices where in-person or drop-off filing is available. No computer program can ask every single possible tax question. The tax professionals in Lakeville, Faribault, and Owatonna average 10 years experience, and you can request the same preparer every year. File your way at H&R Block offices in Faribault, Owatonna, and Lakeville. All tax situations are different. Not everyone gets a refund.
3-point lead for Stewartville. Totino-Grace ball. I'm sorry, Stewartville ball and the lead. Trying to go up the lane. Not doing there. Corner, Jansen. Out top. They've got 14 to shoot. Bancroft. Blocking foul against Totino-Grace on that collision down low in the lane.
Well, kind of a 50-50 call there, and against popular belief, you do not have to be standing still all the time to pick up an offensive rebound. If you lose your position and the offensive player is moving you out of your position with his body, sometimes that will be called. And then certainly if you throw an elbow or an arm out, that will be called.
Johnson picks up his third foul, yet he stays in the game. Isaiah Johnson, just 6 points in the game. I think they found Helder all alone on the backside. He banks it up and in. He has 6 in the game.
Boy, you hate to have that happen as a coach, to give up an easy basket on an inbound.
At the other end, wow, what a move by T.M. Chapman. He spun, he floated, he twisted, he slithered, he flew through the air and got the runner. 3-point lead for Stewartville. Tigers have the ball, 39-36, 11 and a half to go. Helder fakes a pass. Here's a straight-on look. Rims out. Rebounded by Chapman, who just made the offensive play. Then his long pass intercepted by Helder. Young tries to knock it away, but Helder, big body, able to protect the ball. Baseline move, ball jabbed away. It's a foul against Totino-Grace.
Well, and against Stewartville, just doing a really good job of getting down the baseline and beating the defense of Totino-Grace. They make a little head fake, get down the baseline, and one thing I wanted to mention too, Stewartville really good at shot fakes, pass fakes, head fakes, all those kinds of things, and it makes it, sometimes you just get a half step of space when you do that.
6 fouls, by the way, on Totino-Grace in this half already. And just 1 committed by Stewartville. Tigers with the basketball. They lead this game by 3. Pass underneath the hoop, then shovels it low post to low post, and somehow last touch by Totino-Grace. Although the officials come together on this one, and they're going to stick with it. It's Stewartville ball, 18 seconds to shoot. 11:09 to go in the second half of this first game of the State High School Boys Basketball Tournament AAA quarterfinals. Getting inside, and Cheddar for 2. Long pass ahead, gets to Jacob, or Brooks, Brooks. Brands will get it. Brands passes in the corner. Ajatambola, jump stop in the lane, missed it. Young rebound, missed it. Ajatambola missed it, but got fouled. So So some good offensive banging that time for the Eagles of number 1 rated, number 1 seed, Totino-Grace.
And with this current lineup on the floor, Stewartville not having a lot of power in there to block out. A little more strength maybe on the other side and getting those offensive rebounds. Just got to get out a little farther from the basket and get your block out.
Schindler on the foul, his first, just the second of the half on Stewartville. Ajatambola missed his first free throw. Totino-Grace 0 for 2 as a team shooting free throws in the game. Second free throw misses as well. It stays a 5-point lead for Stewartville with 10:40 to go in the first half. Second half. That point total should be first half.
Yeah, that's about right.
For these two teams. This is the second half. And Cheddar through the lane, nowhere to go. And then out top to Malone. Deals into the corner, three-pointer on its way short. Rebounded by Wagner. On the run is Totino-Grace. Watley, a little Euro step and a little behind the back over the shoulder by Chase Watley through the lane. He's got 9. It's a 3-point lead for Stewie.
Well, the defensive help a little slow in coming that time for Stewartville and left it in a one-on-one situation. And just at the end, a defender came but didn't do a whole lot to stop the play. Wasn't really in position.
With 10 minutes to go in the game, Stewartville is going to the free throw line for the front end of a 1-and-1. The foul is on Will Brands, his second personal foul, but it's the 7th on the Eagles here in the second half.
And Bancroft back in the game now for Stewartville, and that'll give them a little more power now near the basket.
So 41-38, Stewartville with the lead over the number 1 seed, Totino-Grace. Cheddar at the line, front end of the 1-and-1. He missed it. So Ajatambola grabs that rebound, and now it is Totino-Grace ball with under 10 minutes to go. 41-38, Stewartville leading. Young. And then Wagner, and they work it around to Watley. Quick passing, Ajatambola got fouled and gets 2 free throws. It might be on Helder. Yep. Helder on the foul. That's his first.
And I think that could have been a charge, but I think Helder's foot was on that circle down there, and then there's no such thing as a charge in there.
Ajatambola, right-handed shooter, bends at the knees, takes the free throw, missed it. Totino-Grace is 0 for 4 as a team in free throw shooting, and Stewartville is 1 for 2. The shooting percentage on free throws is atrocious in this game. Second free throw is good. 1 for 5. So one team is 20%, one team is 50% shooting free throws. 41-39, 2-point game, 9:40 to go. Stewartville leading in an upset bid against the top seed and 2-time defending champs from Totino-Grace.
If Stewartville can hit free throws, they're going to get a lot of 1-and-1 opportunities here, and that they have to hit them, and that could help them if they do.
Bancroft is blocked and fouled. That's going to be number 4, I believe, on Johnson.
Yes, it will.
So the Mr. Basketball finalist, Isaiah Johnson. Wait. Let's make sure on who gets called. It's Ajatambola. My mistake. Ajatambola gets called on the foul, but Johnson was right there, so I pulled the trigger too early. Bancroft at the line, misses it. This is a 2-shot foul for Bancroft. He misses his first free throw. He gets one more.
Couple players with 3 fouls for Totino-Grace, Johnson and Jacob, and for Stewartville, Cheddar with 3.
Free throw missed. Johnson has the basketball in the blue tennies into the front court. Gets to Ajatambola. 2-point lead for Stewartville. 9:15 to go. Johnson, baseline, floats, shoots, misses it. Rebound is Wangen.
And great defense for Bancroft that time as he came and met him on the baseline.
Johnson 3 for 9 from the floor. Bancroft at the other end. Too high off glass. Weak side rebound, Johnson. That's his first, that's his third or fourth rebound. At the other end, a pass to Flair, I should say a shot might have been blocked. No whistle, no foul, rebound, and ball Stewartville up by 2, 8:45 to go. And Cheddar on the dribble, trying to get a screen. One-hand push pass to the right side, return pass to Cheddar, low post, guarded by Watley. Cheddar gets inside, Watley gets in the air. He's fouled, he'll go to the line. Watley is called on the foul, which I believe would be his second.
Cheddar missed the front end of a 1-and-1 a couple of minutes ago. These are really important foul shots to make.
Cheddar 8 points in the game, averages 17 a game. Future Johnny, he'll play some big basketball there. Free throw in and out. 8:33 to go in the second half. More substitutes in, just checking into the game is Caleb Jansen, a senior for Stewartville. No substitute for the great work they'll do for you at Ackerman Accounting and Tax Service in Owatonna. Tax time approaching, and timeout time is approaching right now as well. We've got a 30-second break to take on the Mighty 920 KDHL. What a ball game, 42-39 Stewartville, back in 30 seconds.
Back in the 1920s, when an entrepreneur came to town to seek their dream, they needed three things: a place to stay, a knowledgeable banker, and an account with First United Bank. Today, First United Bank in Faribault and Owatonna is still helping young people who are starting out. First United Bank has grown to the size it is today by giving sound financial advice and personal service to its customers for over 100 years. That's why First United Bank is important for young families today. At First United Bank, they didn't invent personal service, they just never forgot it. Member FDIC.
If Stewartville pulls off this upset, it's not as big of an upset as you might think against a number 1 seeded team. Keep in mind, Stewartville is rated number 3. They're ranked number 3 in the state, yet they're unseeded in the tournament. They're top 5 in QRF, and they were shocked when the bracket came out last Saturday morning to get the unseeded scenario. They thought they'd end up in the 4-5 game. There was a whistle. Something, let's see, Stewartville called on a foul away from the ball. 12 is Jansen. Thanks to Jerry back at the studios, by the way. We had to go to Plan B on some of the technical execution today. You put Roy and Brad in charge of computers and things don't always work out, right, Brad?
Yeah. Well, I think you do okay, but I don't know about myself.
Here's Watley. He's on the runner, charges up the lane, and got the friendly roll on the rim here at the barn. Watley for 2. It is a 1-point game with 8:05 to go.
And that's just a great drive for Watley. Got a little bit past the defense, but put it up over pressure, up underhanded, just rolled it up off the glass and in the rim.
Watley's a 13-point per game guy. He's at 11 points today. Falling down, a hook pass over to Schindler in the corner. Still 10 to shoot for Stewartville. They lead by 1. Inside Cheddar finds a man, head fake, a little bump. Johnson's all over him defensively, and before the shot traveling. So Johnson, even though he's got 3 fouls, Brad, playing pretty aggressively, bumping with the ball handler.
Yeah, that defense is tough and getting tougher as they kind of settle in and start to figure Stewartville out a little bit, figure out their passing sequences, figure out their cuts, things like that. So getting a little harder now for Stewartville, and it probably would have been a shot clock violation had it not been for the travel.
Watley gets the ball into the front court, gets it over to Wagner. He's got Chapman to the right, Ajatambola and Johnson the others. 5 starters on the game right now for Totino-Grace. They're down by 1 with the ball, 7:20 remaining.
And 2-3 defense now for Stewartville.
Shot short and rebounded by Chapman. He's underneath. And before he gets the pass away, it's a foul on Stewartville. Inbound play for Totino-Grace underneath the offensive hoop.
Stewartville just a little slow right now, finding the players to block out, and that is harder out of a zone, but coming right by a player who really should have found that rebounder.
Wongan on the foul, that's his first. Second in the game. Second in the game on Wongan, number 0 for Stewartville, a junior starter. The inbound ball comes to Wagner. Totino-Grace ball. They're down by a point, 7:05 to go. Pass onto the left side, driving baseline is Wagner. Kicks it over to the corner, around to Watley. He drives. Watley, that time short on the finger roll, but then a steal by Chapman, or he might have created the jump ball. Chapman created the jump ball. Possession arrow belongs to Totino-Grace.
Well, some of those quick hands for Totino-Grace getting in there. Looked like Stewartville would have a clean rebound, but now on the jump going back to Totino-Grace.
20 on the shot clock. Johnson baseline right. Finds his man, and now it's in Watley's hands. He wears lucky number 13. Pass high post. Johnson kicks it out right side. Wagner's over there. Watley with 10 to shoot. On the right, Wagner floats, shoots, misses, and the rebound Helder for Stewartville. Stewartville by a point with the ball, 6:35 to go. 42-41, Stewartville from Section 1. Driving, left hand to the basket, rolls off the front of the rim. That one looked like it was going in for Schindler.
Boy, it sure did. Just a little bit too hard off the glass.
Ajadambola deals it right side. Wagner, shot misses. The ricochet comes sharply to Jansen on the rebound. Cheddar at the other end with Johnson in front of him. Cheddar fadeaway, baseline short. Rebound to Ajadambola. And Cheddar gets some grief from the Totino-Grace fans. 1 point lead, Tigers, 6:05 to play, second half.
Stewartville really missing on some much-needed opportunities.
Johnson misses badly on a three from the corner.
Missing lots of easy points on layups and on free throws, too, not long ago.
1 point lead for Stewartville. Tigers with the ball with 5:45 to go. In the game, unseeded Stewartville leading number 1 seed Totino-Grace. Inside pass deflected away. Totino-Grace saw that one coming.
Great hands there.
Ajadambola knocked it away. Watley shovels it out to Ajadambola. There's contact, nothing. Ajadambola shoots, misses, and the rebound is Stewartville.
Not really sure how that could be a no call. I mean, players dropping to the floor off the contact and nothing call. Looked like a charge to me, but no call.
All right, we've got a timeout on the floor. Timeout on the floor here at the barn. And I believe it's a full timeout with 5:15 to go, 42-41. Stewartville leads, and we continue from Williams Arena in 60 seconds on the Mighty 920 KDHL.
Every part counts at Amesbury Truth, and the most important one is the part you'll play when you join their team. As the leading provider of window and door products in North America, Amesbury Truth has a part for you. Right now, they're hiring, and those positions come with competitive wages, benefits, and plenty of opportunities too. So you never stop growing. Isn't it time you open the door to a career at Amesbury Truth? Get details and apply online at amesburytruth.com/careers.
Costco is hiring team members at the Costco Depot located in Owatonna. If you have the desire to work in a fast-paced environment with a diverse group of people, look no further. They are hiring entry-level positions and employees in refrigerated and dry environments. Starting pay is $19.50 an hour, with raises based on the number of hours worked, currently topping out at $29.30. Benefits start after 60 days of employment. Apply online at Costco.com. Costco is an equal opportunity employer.
Down the stretch we come in the first quarterfinal game in Class AAA, Mighty 920, KDHL, Faribault, Minnesota. 76th year of baseline-to-baseline coverage of the State Boys Basketball Tournament with a big cross-section of games with hopefully an emphasis on some of the regional teams until we get into semifinals exclusively on Friday and championship games on Saturday on KDHL and the free on the KDHL app. Roy Koenig, Brad Presterman with you. You're here courtside at Williams Arena. Three-pointer is up and an air ball of sorts from the left wing. Both teams have got a lot of air balls, Brad.
Yeah, Stewartville shooting pretty well, though. Just dropped to 48%. 33% from the three-point line, but for Totino-Grace shooting just 38% overall and hitting 2 out of 14 from the three-point line.
Johnson, boy, he is off, got his own rebound, leaner, back up and in for Johnson, Isaiah Johnson, who's now at 8 points. And the lead belongs to Totino-Grace for the first time in a while, 43-42 with 4.5 to go.
Well, big cold spell for both teams, and finally Totino-Grace broke it.
Cheddar elevates, misses it. Bancroft fights for the rebound, wins it against Brands. Loose ball, Cheddar missed it in close. Bodies all over the place. It's a multi-vehicle crash underneath the lane. Euro step at the other end. Johnson finishes right-handed to the left side of the basket. Cheddar in transition on the other end. Shot too strong. Rebound by Brands for Totino-Grace. They're up by 3 with the ball and under 4 minutes to go.
Well, sometimes underneath, you get worried about the defense coming, and you just kind of force the shot up a little too quickly before you gather yourself. And it's hard to get the shot accurate at that point. Hard to get your touch. Hard to get the loft on it that you want. And just have to be maybe a little more patient under there.
Brands was fed the ball by Johnson, then yet tied up by a Stewartville player. It's a jump ball belonging to Stewartville. They trail 45-42, 3:34 to go in the second half.
Some of the Stewartville players looking pretty tired right now. And so starting to move reserves in and out just a bit more.
We don't really have an official sponsor for our player of the game, Brad, but maybe in the post-game wrap-up we'll mention a couple of guys to give an unofficial unofficial designation of a player of the game. Just feels like something that should be part of the state tournament. So we'll go with that. With the basketball, Stewartville, pass deflected by Totino-Grace. Enthusiastic fan sections for both sides. Totino-Grace fans mostly in the school colors of that navy blue and gold. And a lot of USA on the part of red, white, and blue for Stewartville. Navy blue and gold are the colors for Totino-Grace. Inside, shot missed by Wongan. Maroon and gold are the official colors for Stewartville, though they're in the white uniforms with the maroon numbers today.
One of the things that great defense can do is kind of speed you up, and you kind of feel like that's happening a little bit right now to Stewartville, who is back in their 2-3 zone.
Under 3 minutes to go. 45-42 Totino-Grace. Watley was engineering the offense from the Elm on the maroon. Backdoor pass to Ajadambola. He's got his first field goal of the second half. 5 points in the game. 5-point lead now for Totino-Grace.
Well, Division I recruit to Division I to future Division I recruit, and it looked like it.
And a three-point try misses and is out of bounds off the hands of Stewartville's Malone. Yeah, Ajadambola, just a sophomore, Brad. Nice that you brought that point up. 14 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists per game. He's a pretty special player, even though he only has 5 points in today's game. Everybody's averages, scores are coming in well below their averages in this game. All right, we've got a timeout on the floor, but we'll hold it here. So that Class 4A tournament, I happened to be at the Farmington game against Lakeville North last week for the section championship over there, and the Tigers were down by 10 points in the first half against Lakeville North. The game was tied at halftime, and then Farmington just built a small lead. I think they might have won by 11 points in the end, but watching the celebration from the student section in that Farmington game, boys basketball for Farmington back here at State for the first time since 1937.
You know, I'm shocked by that. They've had some good teams over the years, and I did not realize that. So congratulations to them.
Yeah, they were a section runner-up behind Owatonna a 3 years ago. Lakeville North has dominated Section 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, the athletic director there at Farmington, Keith Badger, a former Faribault athletic director, he came up with the names of the teams that were at State along with Farmington, and I don't have the list in front of me, but it was like Thief River Falls, Virginia, Rochester, just on its own.
Rochester. Yeah.
I think Minneapolis might have had a team at State. And then a couple of counties, Townley, Monterey.
Oh, gosh.
Some school configuration that certainly doesn't exist anymore. So anyhow, Farmington is a cool story here at the state tournament in Class 4A, and they're playing Cretin-Durham Hall in a 4-5 game over at Target Center in just a little while.
Well, good luck to them. So now the rest of this game, a little over 2 minutes, for Stewartville, you cannot give up offensive rebounds.
Johnson with the ball, up the lane, ball knocked away from him. He's going to go to the free throw line, Isaiah Johnson. Future Hurricane.
Well, even going against 2 defenders, that foul is probably not a bad decision because he was going to score that thing.
At the free throw line is Johnson. Has not gone to the line yet. 10 points on the game for him. He averages 19 points per game. (47-42). Totino-Grace. That was short. He's been short on a lot of shots today. He's still made his plays. Don't get me wrong, but he's been short on some shots. 5 for 13 from the floor for Isaiah Johnson.
I don't have any idea what kind of a free throw shooter he usually is.
Right.
I suspect he's a lot better. But that won't pass in Division I. Airballing a free throw.
Yeah, some stats we have access to, some we don't. I could not find free throw shooting stats for Totino-Grace. Their lead is 6, which might be the biggest of the game. 6 points for Totino-Grace. 5 points was the biggest lead for Stewartville. 2 minutes to go, 48-46 Totino-Grace. From the right corner, Wongan goes up over Watley. Shot misses, rebound. There's a lot of blue shirts there. Coming away with the ball is Wagner.
Just cannot make a shot. It's been a long time they've been sitting at 42.
Pass comes across to Watley through his fingertips, saves it right in front of Brad. Inside of Jadambola, backdoor Johnson, waits for the defender to fly by. Johnson banks it up and in. Totino-Grace by 8 with 90 seconds remaining. Cheddar drives, scores for Stewartville, and a timeout is taken. With a timeout taken on the floor, we'll pause for a moment as well. It's down to the final minute 28. Totino-Grace holding off Stewartville or getting ahead of Stewartville. 50-44. Back to the barn in 30 seconds on the Mighty 920 KDHL.
Faribault Foods has been a pillar of the Faribault community since 1895. As a leading manufacturer of high-quality canned foods, they're dedicated to providing wholesome and delicious recipe-ready food. Keep your pantry stocked with canned beans and vegetables for easy meals at your fingertips. Use Mrs. Grimes beans in your favorite soups, chilies, or tacos. And butter kernel vegetables is a side dish your family will love. For more meal inspiration, visit mrsgrimesbeans.com or butterkernel.com.
50-44, Totino-Grace with the lead over Stewartville. Our second broadcast from state tournament will be Mankato East out of the Big 9 Conference and Chisago Lakes area. That is slated for a 2 o'clock start here at the barn. Mankato East, the 2 seed, 26-2. Chisago Lakes area unseeded at 22-7. Derek Theta will have the call for you right here on the Mighty 920 KDHL, 97.9 FM, free on the KDHL app.
Roy, the last time Stewartville scored was with 8:35 left in the game.
Wow.
And that was a free throw by Shetter. First one, he missed the second one.
My goodness. 6-point lead for Totino-Grace. 1:20 to go. Entry pass. Foul committed on Chapman. He'll go to the line. Good sportsmanship by Jansen, helping Chapman back to his feet. Jansen is the one who committed the foul, and a 1-and-1 opportunity now for Chapman. Tian Chapman, he's just a sophomore. Only one senior starter. That's Isaiah Johnson. Front end of the 1-and-1 is good. The lead is now 7. 51-44, 1:17 to go. Totino on top. Second free throw on its way. That misses. Cheddar rebound. So it's a 3-possession game. Still 1:10 to go. Cheddar driving on Jetamola. Outside, Wong in for 3. Too strong. Weak side rebound, Johnson. Ball jabbed away by Cheddar. Cheddar fade away. Got it. 5-point game, 58 seconds. Full court pressure by Stewartville. Johnson then gets it ahead to Chapman. Chapman finds a man cutting along the baseline. That is good for Wagner. He's got 10. That's his first basket of the second half. 53-46, Totino-Grace with 40-some seconds to go. Basket good by Cheddar. Now, was it a foul or a timeout called after the basket? Timeout. Yep. Okay. We'll hold it here. My computer interface tells me we've got about a 60-second break remaining. All of a sudden, my computer is talking to the mothership, wherever the mothership may be. So we'll hold on to that, Jerry, for our brief post-game after these 38 seconds are done. Of course, not ruling out a possibility of this one going to overtime as well, with as close as it is, a 5-point game, but it is Totino-Grace ball coming out of the timeout, and they have a 5-point lead with 38 seconds to go. What's Stewartville's game plan here, you feel?
Well, I think it's pretty easy. You have to get stops, and you can't give up offensive rebounds. The last several baskets for Totino-Grace have been easy baskets inside, and because of not getting a block out, missing a pass rotation, they've been wide open, several of them at their rim.
So Totino-Grace ball to inbound. Chapman will handle that. Wagner, Watley, Johnson, Ajetambola. Meanwhile, Cheddar, Wongan, Jansen is out there defensively. Schindler is out there defensively, and I think Malone is the final guy on the floor for Stewartville. Inbound to Watley, gets through two defenders, and there was, I didn't hear the whistle, but there was a foul called over there while the ball was in Watley's hands. Chase is yet to shoot a free throw. He's got 11 points in the game.
Well, and certainly that's a good game plan, too. You have to foul probably to get the ball out of the hands of Totino-Grace. It's not easy to steal the ball from them, and they're certainly in no hurry to shoot.
36 seconds to go, 5-point lead. The shot off the front of the rim and through from the left-handed shooting. Watley. And now it's a 6-point lead, 54-48 for Totino-Grace.
From an offensive side for Stewartville, I think you leave the ball in Cheddar's hands. He's scored 3 straight layups, and he's the leading scorer, and he needs to take care of this now.
Free throw good, 55-48, 30 seconds to go. Ball turned over. Totino-Grace comes the other way. Ball knocked away, but it didn't get away. Then Wagner, his shot is blocked, but there's a foul. Wagner is fouled and will go to the line. We're down to 24 seconds to go, and the lead is 7 for Totino-Grace, and the Eagles are about to shoot free throws.
So pretty tall mountain to climb right now for Stewartville. And if these free throws are made, it gets really high and really steep.
Percentage chances are going down every ticky-tock of the clock, as Gordy would say, as that free throw is good for Wagner. The lead for Totino-Grace, 56-48. Eagle fans probably already now starting to breathe a sigh of relief. I have a feeling that Coach Carroll won't have anything but a grimace on his face until that clock hits 0. Free throws are made. It's a 9-point lead with 24 seconds to go. A three-pointer rattles around it off. Ajetambola, long pass ahead to Johnson, and Johnson just slows things down. He's not going to shoot. Coach said, don't take the shot, don't slam it home, as Totino-Grace will survive. And Stewartville, boy, oh boy, we'll talk about it in the postgame. What a great start for the Tigers. What a tough draw for Stewartville. The final score is Totino-Grace 57 and Stewartville 48. The two-time defending champs survive the quarterfinal round and move on to the semifinals tomorrow, while Stewartville has to pick themselves up for the consolation round on Thursday. Back to the barn to wrap things up on the opening game of our baseline-to-baseline coverage of the state tournament on KDHL in 60 seconds.
Federated Mutual Insurance Company is passionate about the care and enrichment of the next generation. At the heart of our charitable focus is youth mentoring and our support of Big Brothers Big Sisters. We are proud of our employees who are currently volunteering to be a big brother, big sister, big couple, or a big family, and yet there are hundreds of children still waiting for a big. Ignite your year. Empower potential today. Consider this your personal invitation to learn more about Big Brothers Big Sisters. Together, we can make a difference.
The change in the seasons not only affect us, it also affects your vehicles. Hi, this is Ashley from the Owatonna Auto Clinic. When the temperatures drop, it affects tire pressures, battery functions, and temperature controls. Stop by for a checkup today. The Owatonna Auto Clinic will lab test your vehicle to make sure it has the right prescription to get you through the cold weather ahead. Drive with confidence with a little help from your friends at the Owatonna Auto Clinic at 902 Hoffman Drive in Owatonna.
We've got our post-game wrap-up here on the Mighty 920 KDHL. Roy Koenig, Brad Presteman, Jerry bailing us out back at the studios. Certainly thanks to our sponsors, Faribault Foods, Costco Wholesale of Owatonna. Those substitutions by Ackerman Accounting and Tax Service. There's no substitution for the great work you'll get from Ackerman with tax time right around the corner. Costco Wholesale of Owatonna, First United Bank, Amesbury Truth, Federated Mutual Insurance, Owatonna Auto Clinic, H&R Block, Lakeville, Owatonna, and Faribault. Brad, before getting into some statistical notes, overall thoughts on the strong start by Stewartville and this ball game overall?
Just couldn't score at the end of the game. 8:35 to go, 6 points scored after that, all on very late layups by Cheddar, and really that's the story of the game. I think that had some of those shots and free throws gone down, this game goes differently. The 9 points not completely indicative of where this game really was and how it was played. Had to give up a couple free throws at the end on fouls to try to stop the clock, but holding Totino-Grace about 30 points below their scoring average, and I think Totino-Grace has to come out of it with a lot of respect for the Stewartville team.
For Totino-Grace, they survived this game. Is there a message they internally share about the start? And it's nothing wrong that they did. They just played a really good team to start. So how does Totino-Grace learn from this game, I guess you could say, or I'll ask, going into the semifinal game against the winner of De La Salle and Orono?
Well, I think they have learned what they learned in the second half and in the first half too, that this is not going to be a cakewalk for them. And I have no idea. This might be one of those dumb statements, but this may be the toughest game they have through the run of the tournament. This was certainly a tough one, pushed them all the way, and just couldn't make shots down the stretch there for Stewartville. Missed multiple layups, missed the front end of a 1-and-1, and just didn't go their way today.
Yeah, last year there was a 50-point win in the first round. I think the first round 2 years ago was also kind of one-sided. But, yeah, Stewartville, not your typical unseeded team.
Yeah.
Mankato East is the 2 seed. They're on the other half of the bracket, of course. The 4-5 game is De La Salle and Orono, who are going to play next. And then the winner of that one will play Totino-Grace in the semifinals tomorrow here at Williams Arena. As far as some stats of the game, Brad, stats of service of H&R Block, Owatonna, Faribault, Lakeville, they know their numbers at H&R Block. What do you got stat-wise?
44% shooting for Stewartville, 43 for Totino-Grace, who heated up towards the end, but only 2 3-pointers made for Totino-Grace, 4 made for Stewartville on 15 shots. Leading the way scoring, and we look at some other stats too here. Cheddar with 15 for Stewartville, 7 each for Bancroft and Jansen, 6 for Helder, 5 each for Malone and Schindler. Let's see here, 3 for Wangen, and I think that wraps it up. But looking at some other stats here, just as important, and just to not focus only on scoring, on the rebound column, Bancroft was 7, 6 each for Malone and Schindler. Assists, 5 assists for Malone, 3 for Cheddar, and 6 for Helder. And on the other side of the Totino-Grace game, the team trying to repeat as 3-point champions. They're led by 3 players in double figures. Watley and Johnson, each with 13. Wagner with 12. Chapman with 7. 5 for Ijan Mbola. And 3 for Jacob. 4 for Young, too. Missed him. Other stats for them. Ijan Mbola with 7 rebounds and 5 assists. 2 steals, so a good line for him other than the scoring. 6 rebounds for Chapman, 6 also for Wagner, and 6 for Johnson, the Division I Miami recruit. Both teams played, I think, very well, and I don't think it's a matter of Totino-Grace not playing well. I think this is a matter of Stewartville kind of taking Totino-Grace out of what they wanted to do, at least in the first half and the first 10-12 minutes of the second half, and then Stewartville just went into kind of a scoring drought and couldn't keep up at that point.
And do you have an idea? Are you comfortable with going with a player of the game on each side? Do you have some thoughts on that? Even if it's just a couple of guys to single out to wrap up on our broadcaster?
You know, I'd probably say Johnson for for Totino-Grace, again, the University of Miami recruit, and he looks like it. You can always tell the Division I players walking across the court. They just look different. For Stewartville, came on late in the game after being held to much below his average early on. I'd go with Cheddar, 15 points, and 3 rebounds, 3 assists, couple of steals, and I think that he would be the guy there. I'm sure he's disappointed in some of the things he did, but he did wind up shooting 7 out of 16, brought that up at the end, and still the key player for Stewartville.
And for Johnson, even though his point total was, well, 6 points below his average, it's not like it was atrocious. He had a big second half. He ended up with the 6 rebounds, 2 assists, and a steal. And the fact that he had 2 fouls so early in the game, he did pick up a 3rd foul, but he was able to continue to play and he played 31 minutes in the game. So just, I'm just sharing my thoughts as well that Johnson, even though he wasn't shooting well, still was a big impact in the game and scored 11 of his points in the second half when obviously Totino-Grace built a 9-point win.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, so 57-48, Totino-Grace survives the opening round over Stewartville, and that'll wrap up on things. So the rest of the broadcast day would include the Mankato East game at 2 o'clock. Derek will have the call here from Williams Arena. And then at 6 o'clock today, 5:30 is when there's the regular church service on KDHL radio. When that wraps up at 6:30, we'll join coverage of regional team Waseca playing Breck in the AA tournament here at Williams. And then Brad and I will be back with Lake City against Pelican Rapids in a game at Target Center tonight at 8 o'clock. So it's the 76th year of bringing you baseline to baseline coverage of the state boys basketball tournament from the Twin Cities. Brad, thanks a lot for being here today. Good job, and what a way to start. What a great ball game to start.
It really was, and thank you, Roy. Good to be here with you.
All right, Derek will be back with you at 2. Big thanks to Jerry back at the studios as we say so long for now from Williams Arena. The tournament is off and running, and again, that final score for a final time is Totino-Grace 57, Stewartville 48. Good afternoon from the barn.